Okay, we're gonna take a new look at the USDT dominance. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but every time it pushes up, I want to be watching that. We had that CME gap did fill on the IBIT, by the way. This one is now filled. This one is not. It tried to. We don't really want it to go down. We still could head down lower for that. And we'll talk about the M2. Bitcoin, of course, the little war fears, I don't want to diminish it. The war fears, let's call it what it is, definitely spooked the market. But M3 is still moving up higher, clearly. And, this dip, these are not always exact. We should push higher here and then followed by another dip. Whatever that could be, maybe that should have been the Iran-Israel conflict. I don't know. We'll have to see things as we go. But putting in a higher low is important. I don't want to see us come down and retest 99.9. And we'll talk about this, see where we are with that study. We really are at a kind of a precipice there, an important level. Let's start with Bitcoin here. So we recovered most of that big dip down last night and after 8 p.m. That's good. We bounced right off the 50-day exponential moving average and right out of the buy block. And that's why I was saying I wasn't too bearish. I was starting to wonder, was this kind of an extended shoulder up here? But generally, this head and shoulders, this confirmed candle kind of invalidated that right shoulder. If we had broken down on that level, we were looking at a 91K, maybe 90K dip, okay? And not good, because we want to maintain this upward trending parallel channel, simple stuff. Now, we do have a bearish ERI yesterday, and this is really important, you guys. So today's candle is important. Now, Fridays tend to sell off into the weekend. We are getting a red circle on the signal line. If it confirms end of day, likely the sell-off will continue. And, we can use some kind of trend lines on these. And so what we want to see is an end of day rally and this to change from red to green. And that can happen. And just, again, keep in mind, the AI algorithms, the market makers, they're way smarter than us humans. And they know what a whole bunch of people probably sold out down in this range. And so they're kind of, the Max Payne play is to fool all this slightly evolved apes over here called humans. And hey, let's be honest. So, and also the signal line here going bearish, TSI going bearish, but that could change end of day. And if we can, this is a bullish hammer, even though it's red, if we can somehow get to green here, even a little bit, that it would indicate a reversal. And so, again, these squiggles are not exact, but if we saw, and probably without the missiles flying into Iran and the retaliation, we would have seen a bounce back here, probably. So, I'm really, it's really hard to call this one. I think, I'm bullish. Camel's video is bullish. It's good to have, confluence there. There's people that are bearish or people, and I like to see there's really no confluence. If everybody's saying one thing, that's when I get a little worried, because, and I have no proof of this, but the social signals, and there is technology out there that can do that, both in marketing, and I'm sure that the hedge funds, exchanges, whatever, are monitoring social signals and giving some kind of a gauge, and it's a contrarian indicator, probably. If everyone's bullish, what do we have happen? We have things roll over. If everyone's bearish and no one's buying, that's when we take off. So again, a little bit of paranoia has always served me well, and I don't think we should call it paranoia necessarily, but it's, too much not good, a little bit good. We also evolved as humans, paying attention to movement in the bushes. So novelty, we're hardwired for novelty, but it can serve against us, and so we trust in what we see in the charts. And at some point soon, I'll take this head and shoulders off because I think at this point, 50-day exponential moving average held, buy blocks, and even though we're rolling over a little bit on the daily, pretty good shape. Now, onto the weekly, though, a little bit different picture. We have a triple top, and triple tops are not great. Breakouts happen on the 3rd or 5th attempt, generally. So what that means is we could the concern there is it's delaying everything. And not saying I was married, certainly we all have confirmation bias, but I wanted that I was married to an outcome of pushing off. I was saying 150K in June, possible. looking less likely, but maybe it's sort of delayed a little bit, and we just have to see what happens. But triple top, maybe we come down again, do another feeble attempt at it, and then we break through. Not saying that a fourth attempt can't happen, but generally the third time's a charm, third or fifth. All right, so we'll see what happens. Point is, we have to take it day by day. I can't tell you what happens next. I don't know. And, so many factors and variables. We just kind of have to button our chin straps, put on our helmets, and wait for a bumpy ride. My invalidations and stop losses on Bitcoin, if we start losing 100K, 99K, 99.5, 99.2, like right in this region, is where we really want to be looking at having stop losses. And that would be, below 100,000. 98.8 as the midpoint of this. We have the midpoint of the vector candle there, and this big buy block, and that's significant. So if we start losing that level, 99.9, 100K, and we're going down the lowest wick, I'd say 99.5, 99.6. It's time to be getting out of Bitcoin, at least a fair amount of it. We do have support down here at 96K, but really we don't want to see that because then we lose this nice upward parallel channel, and we don't want to get into another downward parallel channel because that took quite a while. It took months. We really don't want to see that. We want to see this parabolic move higher. And so I did post something in the chat here a minute ago. So let's look at the 1 hour, 4 hour. Guys, if you are swing trading this, and I know most of you aren't, but there are clues here to pay attention to. And let's look at the 4 hour more than the 1 hour. So I'll just move the 1 hour out of the way for a minute and just ignore that, or even better, I'll go full screen. So let's go down back to the indicators, just looking at these Bollinger Bands. Such a great tool that we have. And so we touched the lower Bollinger Band, closed below it, got this green vertical line. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. And sure enough, we bounced and rallied right out of that region there. So these are excellent reversal signals, and we did push all the way up to the top Bollinger Band. Remember I told you, Steve Nissen, we were doing a webinar together, and it was pre-webinar, and he told me this because he knows John Bollinger very well, and he said, typically you'll see go from one to the other. Now, I see it more often from high to low, but look at this excellent example, and I want you to remember this. So we hit the lower Bollinger Band, closed below it, dipped down below it again, but then we rallied out of it, got back above the 21 to 50 EMAs, and touched the upper Bollinger Band, and then proceeded to do what? Sold off. We have our sell blocks to confirm this level, and then all the way down to the lower Bollinger Band. So is it reasonable to assume that we, at this point, could push up all the way up to that upper Bollinger Band? Doesn't happen every time, but it happens quite often. Upper Bollinger Band here, down there, didn't quite get to it, but if ultimately it did, touch the upper, lower, back here. This is the 4 hour again. Lower, upper, didn't quite get to the bottom one. We had a bit of a rally there, but so certainly worth paying attention to. Not straight up, typically 4 or 5 candles in a row, brief breather, but really we want to see this back above 107,000. And I'll put a note in there and just say buy signal above EMAs. Just huge time saver. Hopefully you guys are using these alerts, by the way. Okay, what else do we see though? Confluence, stay with me. So confluence with our other signals, what are the patterns here? Let's just focus on lower Bollinger Band for now. So we dip down, lower Bollinger Band, touch and break. Would we buy that automatically? No. Remember your trade success checklist. You should know these by heart by now. Coming in, where's the trigger? We have TSI green above 20 here. Where's our ERI? Let me just see that. That can be our early reversal indicator, hence the name. But we saw that a little bit early, one candle ahead of it. So we had lower Bollinger Band, not quite to the buy block. We had bullish engulfing candle here. I would have probably started buying there. Any two signals or setups, and I think it's if we are bullish, then we want to look at those and start legging in. Look, I know it's in an ideal world. Probably most of us are fully invested and didn't see this drop, so I get it, right? But I am here to teach you how to fish, even though you just want the fish sauteed in lemon on the plate with some asparagus and a nice glass of Chianti on the side. I get it. Everyone wants the same thing. We used to joke when I went to Options University that clients are not happy unless we drive to their home every night and fill their mailbox full of cash. Who wouldn't want that? But it does sadly require some effort because it's a zero-sum game, and I'm giving you those edges that I look for and want you guys to internalize. You know, they say also that you don't understand something till you can explain it to someone else so that they understand it. My homework for you is go explain this to somebody else and see if they understand it. That will prove you understand it. Hey, this is Brett from Moonstream. If you'd like to learn more about our pro trading signals or our live classes every Wednesday or our Retire Rich program, go over to moonstream.io/start.